Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. The role of the First Lady comes with no official duties and is unpaid. This, despite the fact that many of them work hard to accomplish many projects that they're passionate about and are notoriously targeted for appearance-based criticism. In the 1850s, the pathways of the roads in Central Park were designed to be curved so that people couldn't race in their horse and carriages. The world's smallest guitar is about the size of a human blood cell. It was made by Cornell University researchers from crystalline silicon and has 6 strings, each about 50 nanometers wide. Nagoya Castle in Japan has opened a ninja school where tourists can take an hour lesson from Hattori Hanzo and the Ninjas, a group of men and women dressed in ninja outfits who give lectures on things such as ninja weapons. In August 2016, an anonymous artist placed a huge statue of Pikachu on a defunct fountain in Coliseum Museum Park in New Orleans. It's made of fiberglass but was made to look like aged bronze. The Wallace flying frog is able to glide from tree branches and glide up to 49 feet by splaying their 4-webbed feet. The skin flaps catch the air as they fall. In August of 2016, Nabisco released a limited edition Swedish fish Oreo cookie. It's the normal chocolate cookie filled with a red Swedish fish flavored cream. China has a panda-themed subway train that was created to draw tourists to the panda base in Chengdu, a large panda bear conservation facility. In the United Kingdom, there's an app called Too Good To Go, which connects users to local restaurants that want to sell perfectly good leftover food at a much cheaper price. McDonald's once created bubblegum flavored broccoli to get kids to eat more vegetables. Unfortunately, testing on children didn't go well. The candy flavored vegetable only confused them. The movie Wayne's World was filmed in only 34 days, but that was in the 1990s. Compare that to today, where many movies take many months or even years to film. The blood in the famous shower scene in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho was actually Hershey's chocolate syrup. This was the go-to for blood in black and white films at the time. Paul McCartney's mother was a midwife. In fact, having been in charge of the maternity ward at the Walton Hospital, Liverpool, she was awarded the privilege of giving birth to Paul in a private ward. Her ambition for her elder son was that he would become a doctor. Actor Richard Gere's middle name is Tiffany. All royal babies are baptized with water brought from the River Jordan. The tradition began because this is where it is said that Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist. Dogs can suffer from tonsillitis, but not appendicitis because they don't have an appendix. Barn owls are normally monogamous birds, but a study done by the University of Lausanne found that during a year where they don't have many babies, they may divorce each other and move on to a new mate. Usually, the male keeps the quote house, meaning they stayed at the original breeding ground. Out of thousands of satellites that have been launched into space amongst meteors, only one has been hit and destroyed, the European Space Agency communications satellite Olympus. During mating, the male sea otter grips his teeth onto the male's nose. During the reproduction cycle, females get the nickname Rudolph because after mating, the female's nose is red. Starfish, also known as sea stars, have no brains and no blood. Their nervous system is spread through their arms and their quote blood is actually filtered seawater. Those little flashes of light you see when you close or rub your eyes is called phosphenes. The light flashes inside your eyes because atoms in the eye emit and absorb particles of light. The optic nerve sends light signals to the brain, making the phosphenes visible. A cat's lower jaw is attached to its upper jaw, which makes it impossible for them to move their jaw sideways or grind their teeth. When actress Charlize Theron was 15, her mother shot and killed her alcoholic father in self-defense. The actress was quoted as saying, "The terrible thing is that everybody in South Africa has a gun, but that's just the lifestyle there, and those things are handy, terrible things happen." In the 1980s, you could call 1-900-909-FRED to have Freddy Krueger of Nightmare on Elm Street tell you scary stories. According to a study done by researchers at the Australian National University, queen bees and ants can control their colony's female offspring by emitting a special pheromone. It can actually alter the DNA of their daughters that ensures the offspring are sterile and remain busy workers. When they are deprived of the pheromone, the worker bee honeybees and ants become more self-centered and lazy and began to lay eggs. In August of 2016, Taco Bell started testing on a new product called the Cheetos Burrito. It's a burrito stuffed with seasoned meat, buttery rice, and a cheese sauce and Cheetos. All of it for just $1. Scientists have discovered 2 new types of ants in the rainforests of New Guinea. Their names are Pheodole viscerion and Pheodole drogon, and were inspired by the fire-breathing dragons from the fantasy series Game of Thrones. The ants bear a strong resemblance to the dragons because they have blade-like serrations on their backs. Researchers from Macquarie University found that people with psychopathic tendencies have a poor sense of smell. You can buy flatulence deodorizer pads to be worn in your underwear to prevent your flatulence from smelling. The bite of the Brazilian wandering spider, also known as the banana spider, can cause priapism in men, which is an uncomfortable erection that can last for hours. A fully mature oak tree sheds approximately 700,000 leaves each autumn. You can tell the age of a mountain goat by the number of rings on its horns. The average lifespan of a mountain goat is 9 to 12 years. The honeybee has hair on its eyes. They are microscopic short hairs called setae that help with navigation by catching the wind to help them figure out direction and speed while traveling. Hamsters can blink one eye at a time. Seems kind of unnecessary, but okay. During World War II, the US Navy partnered with the Mafia to protect the country's ports. The US government denied its collaboration with the Mafia for decades, and not just in relation to the Second World War. Dutch bike manufacturer Van Moof started printing pictures of flat-screen TVs on their bike boxes to reduce delivery damages. Damages went down 70 to 80%. A moose's antlers can weigh as much as 70 pounds and be as wide as 6 feet. In 1898, author Morgan Robertson wrote a novella called The Wreck of the Titan. In the book, the ship Titan sinks in the North Atlantic after being hit by an iceberg. The story of the sinking is eerily similar to the actual Titanic that sank just 14 years later. Both ships were deemed to be unsinkable, didn't have enough lifeboats, struck an iceberg, and sank and lost more than half of their passengers. Congress in the United States made the first Tuesday in November Election Day to accommodate farmers and rural workers in the 1800s. November was the month that suited farmers best because the fall harvest was over by November, spring was planting time, and summer was when they worked the fields. The weather in November in the majority of the nation was still mild enough for traveling. Tuesday was picked because most residents of rural America had to travel far to reach the voting center. Tuesday gave them enough time to start traveling on the Monday instead of Sunday, which would have conflicted with church services. Author Ian Fleming, who created the fictional character James Bond, got the name from an American ornithologist, James Bond, a Caribbean bird expert and author of the field guide Birds of the West Indies. The state of Wyoming produces the most coal. It produces 40% of all coal production in the United States. In the 1960s, the American Typers Association made a new punctuation mark called the interrobang. It's a combination of a question mark and an exclamation mark. It was designed to be used at the end of the exclamatory rhetorical question, such as "What the heck?" There are people who suffer from aphantasia, where they are unable to create imagery in their mind's eye and synthesize senses in their mind. A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens was written in only 6 weeks. Tiny Tim and Bob Cratchit helped speed up the process. The acronym Shazam, that was shouted to conjure up comic book hero Captain Marvel, stands for Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury. Walt Disney's Goofy was first introduced to audiences in Mickey's Revue, but he was originally called Dippy Dog. There are only 2 words in the English language that both begin and end in und, underground and underfund. The American football team Baltimore Ravens are named in honor of Edgar Allan Poe's classic poem, The Raven. At 7:25 p.m. on March 1st, 1950, the West Side Baptist Church in Beatrice, Nebraska was rocked by an explosion that demolished the church. Choir practice had been scheduled to begin at 7:20, but not one of the 15 people who should have been present was injured because all of them arrived late that night. Some people think it was divine intervention. Writer Mark Twain's real name was Samuel Langhorne Clemens. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching this. As always, if you enjoyed it and you feel like it, drop a like on it. And on the right, you'll find 2 of my most recent videos that you can click if you want to watch more. And don't forget to subscribe because I'll have a brand new video for you soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye!